Well, it's another scorchio day, as you can see. The leaky roof has nothing to do right now, but it is out there. You can see my flowers are spreading and spreading. They're taking over the whole yard. And some more wild plants are going to fill up the gaps. This morning I was up the woods again where I do my projects and have my camp there. Mobility is getting a lot better, amazingly, and I'm getting out and about more. So hopefully soon I'll get to go to a place I haven't told you about. It's called a cottage. It was originally a squat, and all kinds of parties used to happen there. Now it's legal, and so normally like 300 youngsters would come and have a big party, and I'm one of the handful of like old dudes that is on the scene and always will be. Being myself, I'm on the scene all over the world. So hopefully soon you'll see the guys out there and their amazing lives there. Now, here on the home front, as it were, my new and fascinating development is that my emotional control is pathetic. Me, who is badass, well, I like to pretend that I am, at least. Aren't we all pretending when it comes to it? Yeah, you can like knock me down with a feather and I go tearful on you, and then 2 minutes later I've completely forgotten about it. Oh no, now it's back again. So, you know, emotional ruggedness is no longer one of my strong points. Well, a new and interesting life experience. It's not one I was expecting, to be honest. But hey, look, it's a brain tumor. There's going to be something now, isn't there? Very important to mention, my team working for the capitalists. Also, there was a very, very, very elderly collie dog who came with us absolutely everywhere. Yes, it's got to be a dog, isn't there? So while I have it in mind, say a little more about the crazy Irish girls, the other two, not young Ita. I'll share a bit more about them. So I met up with the three crazy Irish in Cairns for adventures. Amongst my adventures, one of the three girls has become addicted to tranquilizers, easy to get in Thailand. I unhooked her for it not easily. He goes on to be a psychotherapist. The learning was good for her. The other friend, Fiona, the reason she was there is that she had her own house, and her boyfriend was a bouncer in a small town, turned into a control freak, took hold of her house and kicked him out of his own place because it's mine now, apparently. He went to a solicitor, but it was, it's Ireland back in the day. Her lawyer was on the other person's side, basically directly working against her 100%, and was in a bad life situation. And the way I advised her was to like sack that person immediately, and while you're here, find yourself in Dublin a young female go-getter solicitor and kick his butt, which she did, and got her house back, and it all came out good in the end. She wrote to me about 10 years later, out of the blue, to basically say thanks so much and all that. It's one of the times and the moments of opportunities in life where it was all worthwhile, as it were. That's the only way I can describe it to you. I hope she sees it. Yeah, so I've told you the odd bit and piece about Dangerous Brian, my sidekick. I'd love to simply have to give you some of his stories. Let's not talk about my stories, talk about somebody interesting. I remember one time, it was lunchtime. At lunchtime, he would often disappear, meet his secret girlfriend, would appear in her husband's flash sports car with opaque windows, enjoy themselves for lunchtimes out of 5, have basically some dodgy drugs and such like, come back and continue with the day's work. The point I like to point about Brian is he doesn't actually do any crime of his own. He does his friends, not like for money or something. It's his culture. He's part of a group on the estate, and those are his friends. Somebody upsets them, he flattens somebody, no more problem, basically. I remember one time he disappeared entirely to have a quiet word with somebody about somebody's money going, and the guy, a criminal, spotted Brian approaching and hid underneath a car where he couldn't be reached for an hour until Brian had to go, in a state of absolute terror, and rightly so, basically, because I wouldn't. And back then, when I was in my own form, I would have lost, basically, and I wouldn't make that statement to many people. When we were doing our, after I had the amoebic dysentery and started my own business, Dangerous Brian was my man. I remember once I was with Dangerous Brian. We had a big field, about 50 acres, one of the sites of these characters, the capitalists as I think of them. And I'd gone up to the shop to go and get some stuff for the day, to eat and drink, but there's no signal there. And it's about 5 miles away, so he couldn't get me by telephone. While I was not there, we were invaded by the pikeys, and he was up for the fight, basically, but he was only armed with a piece of ragwort twig. Was all he was armed with against all the pikeys, and they meant business. But he phoned me and pretended I was actually there and kept cutting it out and redialing without being able to see that he wasn't really talking to someone. I came up armed and ready for action, threw him a suitable item, more to his liking. I had my favourite one, and they decided to leave. So that's enough for Dangerous Brian, as you beg. A naughty boy with a heart of gold, absolutely. I can tell you that for certain. I apologise for any terrible editing, which is entirely me. So I did a year and a half for these, I just could think of them as the capitalists, making a lot of money for other people, and virtually none for myself. I've just never been able to take money seriously. So yeah, I did a year and a half. I had like 8 chainsaws, I had 3 off-road mowing machines, I had a whole huge container full of equipment. Basically spent all my money on toys. I made $750,000 in a year, and that was a lot back then. But only actually, when it was time to leave, I was just got over it all. I ended up with 10,000, which is peanuts compared to what I did. Because it was time to go sailing then, and off I went. Time for a new life at sea. I was stuck around for quite a long time, that's why. Well, that's enough of working for the capitalists and sailing. You've heard enough, I reckon. Yeah, probably. So I'm gonna talk about my amazing support I have from my friends, my team, um, and they are amazing. Um, that'll be the main thing I'm going to talk to you about, and I'm going to talk to you about when I was working as a care worker in a specialist place. I'll tell you that story. A whole different world that I worked in, and learnt utterly different skills in a life, basically. Um, yeah, something different next time. See you next time.